So guys, here we are, MMA UK News. Obviously myself, Stoomboy, as always, MMA UK BJJ show. So talking about Grapplefest 11. Grapplefest 11 is going to be Saturday, 26th of February. Going to be at the usual place. So obviously Fleet Street in Liverpool. That's going to be Fusion Nightclub. Doors open, I believe, around about 3-ish, half 3. Grapplefest, as I keep mentioning, they're very, very punctual. So first fight, I believe, is going to be about 4 o'clock. And then obviously it'll run throughout the night until the finish. So tickets, guys, none available at all. Obviously, general sales sold out with 6 weeks to spare. Some of the fighters may have some tickets left. Very much doubt it. Okay, so because as I say, these tickets went very, very quickly. But you can go into Flow Grappling. You can get the event on Flow Grappling. If you're only getting the event, if you're only getting Flow Grappling for this one event, make sure you do choose the monthly option. As I say, there's been many people, obviously, when they've went in, they've been charged a full year. So there is an option to choose monthly payments. So make sure you do. I think it's about £12 or £14. And then obviously it's up to you whether you keep it after that or not. It's going to be Daisy Fresh versus Europe. So Daisy Fresh is bringing over a team of absolute savages, and they're going to be taking on obviously the best that the UK and Europe has to offer. So obviously my next guest is going to be on the show that night. So it's going to be Josh Cherrington. Now Josh comes out of ASW, absolutely fantastic team. Obviously, ASW has a couple of gyms over the north of England. He's going to be up against Jack Levack. We've seen Jack before. I think we recently seen him on the SGI at the Four Nations. So obviously it's going to be a fantastic matchup between these two guys. So, Josh, listen, absolute pleasure, buddy, to have you on. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
No, definitely. So, listen, we were buzzing to get you on. Obviously, Chris, I'd been speaking to Chris and so on. So, a lot of people talking good stuff about you, Josh.
I know. Well, this will be like my 7th time on Grapplefest, so it's every time has been fun. I've had a couple of what I thought were disappointing performances, but I guess as long as they're entertaining, that's sort of why I get brought back for four wins, 2 losses. So hoping to make it 5-2. I know Jack. I know he's a beast. I don't know. I've never trained with him, but I know I saw his last match on Grapplefest. I know the caliber of people he trains with.
Yeah.
So I know he's not going to be any slouch. So.
Yeah. Definitely. And I say it's obviously when we looked at you, obviously you've been on Grapplefest obviously a number of times before, so a Grapplefest veteran now. So would you call yourself a veteran?
I don't know. It's not my cup of tea. I won't be putting that in my Instagram handle.
So, but you're used to it. I mean, obviously you've been out there before. Obviously the setting and stuff like that. I mean, obviously describe the setting. Obviously anybody that's never been there before. Well, obviously when you're coming out, what kind of setting would you say it's like?
It's different than competing anywhere else. The last one was particularly different for me because I was on the main card, so I was well deep into the card.
Yeah.
Before I've been this time, somewhere within the prelims, and you can sort of get in there, get it done, and then get on the ale. It's a good laugh. But this last one, I was like, oh, for God's sake, we had to wait ages there, and thinking when do I warm up and all this sort of jazz. But no, you come out and it's just there's eyes everywhere. It's live on Flow, and the atmosphere is it's not like a normal grappling contest, not like a tournament. It's like doing it in it's hard to say. It's like doing it in front of a crowd of knowledgeable people. They don't. You're not going to go out there and not have people praise you on certain little techniques that you do. Everyone's super, and there's such a good group of people up. Especially the competitors, I'm buzzing just to watch a load of the people that I know that are all in around the scene up here, or whatever you'd want to call it. That sounds gay as fuck, but they're all involved in grappling, and that's what excites me. I love just getting to see who's going to beat who. There's some interesting matches on the card.
Yeah, yeah. And you mentioned as well, I mean, the crowd, I mean, it's a very, very intimate. I mean, the crowd's on top of you as well. As I said, normally whenever you go to other events, the crowd's sitting back in seats and things like that. Whereas obviously when you, especially behind the barrier, everybody's standing up right at the barrier, right on top of the action.
It's not quiet either. Like I had a bit of FOPO, like the semi-slam in my last match, which I was like, I wasn't intent. Well, I don't know in the moment, but you know, like you can hear everyone's like, oh, like a proper. And then obviously, I was competing against someone from Daisy Fresh, George, so I had to endure all the shouts from them, and you know, even the UK lads were shouting it, which was a bit strange. I thought I'd get a bit more of a backing.
Yeah, yeah. And then obviously your opponent, as I say, Jack. So obviously Jack, as I say, he was on the last Grapplefest, and then he was on, as he did SGI as well, as he come up with Owen Livesey and Team England, and obviously took the gold back home to England. So you mentioned obviously you've obviously seen him, but you've not had a chance to train with him, which is quite unusual because you North of England guys train with each other all the time.
Nah, there's an east-west divide in terms of
Right.
No, but not like in anything. I've been over there. I've trained with Owen. I've just never had the chance to train with Jack. So I'm sure we'll bump into each other at some point. Obviously, we're going to compete, but I mean, like on an open mat or something similar. So
yeah, definitely. And then obviously Grapplefest, and as with you being on a number of times before then. So how did you find out then that you were going to be on this one?
I just got I think I told Cam, you know, who runs the ASW Manchester, that I was up for doing the next one if he wanted to put us forward. And normally like the last one, obviously Tomo was just looking for someone to come in last minute to go with George. So I just jumped to that opportunity as soon as I got offered it. But this one, I've just said, I'm like free. Not thinking anything of it because obviously like a lot of people know that it's a stacked event. And just got the shout. So I was like more than happy. There's another guy from our gym that's on it as well, Chris Leeson. Who's like one of my main training partners, and you know, I'm really hoping he can get it going because he's a monster. So
yeah, definitely. I'm going to be hopefully speaking to Chris over the next kind of couple of weeks. So
I don't. You won't get much out of him.
So, well, hopefully we'll get a chance to speak to him. Hopefully, so
you'll have to like change the filter on his camera because he's whiter than snow. He's like Casper.
I mean, that's like some of these Daisy Fresh guys. I mean, I don't know if you've seen some of these guys, but these guys look like they've never had sun in years. So very, very pale when they come over. So yeah, Daisy Fresh guys are exactly the same. So
I was surprised when I watched all the videos because they were like, "Oh yeah, Liverpool." And I was thinking, there's nicer places in the UK. They're talking about Liverpool like I mean, I'm no slight on it, but
yeah, they did, man. They absolutely loved Liverpool. Obviously, when they were over the last time, they absolutely loved it. They were out walking about and taking pictures and videos and stuff like that. So, but yeah, Liverpool, they thought it was absolutely brilliant. But I think this time they're going to be getting to travel around a little bit. I know they're coming, hopefully coming up to Scotland. They're going to be going down south, obviously further down south in England. So they're going to get to see a little bit more of the country other than Liverpool. So
I have to give it to Chris because he's kept it. You know, he's done them all in the same venue. He knows that a lot of local lads get on there. He knows that he backs the grappling up here in the north of the UK, as well as like UK homegrown talent. Like it comes from even the first one to have, you know, the main event, Ross Nichols, Jack Grant. He's been pumping into the UK scene. I said scene again. I'm going to hate that. But you know what I mean? Like he's really, really investing in it, which you can't admire him enough for that.
Yeah, I mean they do well. Grapplefest, and every event you see, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger as time goes on. So, and as you mentioned, obviously, it gives the young guys a chance. Blue belts, purple belts, and so on. Everybody gets a chance to come on and do their thing. As I say,
I was glad to see Mark Wynn got the shout back in after his. He had like a really good match.
Yeah,
he was at one point, you know, the best blue belt in Bromborough. So he's going places now. he'll hate me for that.
You know what? Just as you're saying that, obviously you're praising him there, but you just come in with a comment there. Mark Wynn, Kurt Angle is going to smash it.
Oh god, he's what you he was having a bad day in the gym, and then he gave me that nickname. Well, he said it to his to the guys in the gym afterwards, and it stuck. So
so that's just as you were praising him, you were giving him good praise there. Then
yeah,
obviously you come in with that.
He's terrible.
No, listen, Mark's an awesome guy. I've spoken to Mark a couple of times. Really down to earth guy. Yeah, great guy to chat to, and obviously awesome grappler as well. So good to see him definitely back on the card as well. So, and then as I said, I like to go on social media, Josh. Just find a little interesting fact about you. So tell us about Betty. Betty, yeah. Do you remember this?
Is this a car?
This is a car, mate. Let me just bring up the car. So,
yes. I don't know. It's like this car, I think.
So let's bring this up. There we go.
Yeah, I don't know if you could... That's when I used to, go around with your big back box on, and I was one of the first to drive in my year, so you can imagine how many ladies I was getting.
But do you know what? I think everybody when they were younger had a car like that. So whether it be a Corsa, or I think when I was younger, it was like Vauxhall Novas and Vauxhall Astras and Peugeot 205s and stuff like that. So, it's good to see.
On a bicycle, so.
But it's good to see. I mean, I think as well. Did you put the wheels on that car? So I think you put
the wheels on it. Sorry.
Yeah, did you put the wheels on yourself, or did they come with the car?
Oh no, yeah. You had to do the little bits, didn't you?
Yeah. But I saw it, as I said, when I was going through. Obviously, I saw you and the lads went out. I think you went camping, and obviously you went out in your car with obviously a few of the boys, and I think it was another car, Volkswagen Polo, which was full of boys as well, and you just went out.
Deep dive on my Facebook.
Yeah. Well, that's what I do. I like to obviously have a look. Obviously get some interesting facts. So as it's not always about grappling, as they obviously people have had a life before grappling came along. So that's what I do. I like to put some stuff out there for you. So yeah, a bit of a boy racer back in the day. So
not anymore. No,
not anymore. And then what about you then? Obviously 2022 we mentioned earlier. This is going to be our first full year back since 2019. Obviously, the last couple of years has been absolutely horrible for grappling events and obviously people training and stuff like that. So, I mean, what do we see you doing in 2022? Or what would you like to see yourself doing?
I just want to get out. I just want to be as active as possible. I'm getting a little bit older, realizing that, the wheels are going to fall off at some point. So, I mean, I'm not looking to beat the world, but I definitely want to. I think I've got a lot more to show. So whether that's at local events or on, say, a Grapplefest or such. So I'm just going to try and hammer as many events that, my work and family life will let. And I mean, I'm just happy with what I'm doing. I didn't really stop training. So I've, I just enjoy training. I love grappling. Like I could not go, a couple of weeks or even like, the odd few days without getting on a mat. So, and that's been the same since I was like, 19 or something. So, and I'm lucky to have, a setup where I can train with a couple of close friends, and we just train, all week in like a garage, and then I'll go ASW whenever I want, and get some hard rounds there. Or there's like a variance of open mats now running up and down, so they're just dropping at any gyms. It's it's the best it's been, like you're saying. These last like few months have been quality. Yeah, it's been good. As it's been a horrible couple of years we've had. I think it'll be 2 years in March we got shut down, and then we got open for a little bit, then we got shut down again, and then we got open. It's been like that for 2 years, so a lot of people, obviously a lot of gyms closed, so obviously there was a lot of people didn't have that opportunity, or there was a few fight clubs going on,
Obviously, we don't talk about that, but yeah, a lot of people didn't get the chance to train. So I'm glad you managed to get some training in as well. So that's absolutely fantastic to hear. So, but it means, I mean, you're on things like Grapplefest, so you're Grapplefest obviously having like kind of the top guys in the whole of the UK and the world and so on there. So it made sense. Obviously, you're having to keep training as well.
But just yeah, if that's some sort of excuse to get away with it, yeah. No, you just
well, that
just
was the reason.
Go
You
on.
remember they said that they said they had that elite program, the elite athlete program. So if
Oh, that
you
was a
were
whole
on
it.
yeah, well, if you were on things like, if you were on the big events and stuff like that, then it meant that you were allowed to train. You just had to apply for the elite status. The government obviously okayed it and things like that. So
It all seems like so ridiculous now, looking back after how it's all shaken out. So
yeah, yeah. But yes, fingers crossed that's all done. Obviously, COVID's still kicking about. Obviously, everybody still be safe. Obviously, you don't want to get it at all. But hopefully, lockdowns and stuff like that's done. We can get back to normal. Hopefully, this is the year of grappling. We can definitely pick up from where we left off from 2 years ago. So, and then last thing for you then. So, obviously, you've been in the game for a number of years. Anybody you want to shout out to? So, any kind of friends, family members, teammates, things like that.
Jesus, it'd be hard to list them all. I'm just happy just to be part of it and just still be able to get out and do stuff like this and not be injury free as well. Obviously, the majority of my training is with Kamat Akura at ASW Manchester. I roll my friend Tyrone Smith. I've trained with him since I was like 20 years old, 19 years old. So just turned 30. I obviously trained under Ian Bromley, who was like a massive influence on me. So, I've always came from that sort of. That's why I love training at ASW. I had a small spat at the gym in Stoke Bedlam with Greg Cook, but I've just always enjoyed, like the wrestling, the grinding aspect. I don't think you'll find me playing bottom much. Always be looking to, scramble, push the action, get to like a dominant position. And if that doesn't work, then, I'm just going to keep trying it. Like that's, I've only got one route. Like I don't think I've gone to have enough time now to reinvent the wheel, if you get what I'm saying. I'm not going to be able to go back. I can learn all this new stuff and I incorporate some of it in my game. I've, caught the odd thing. Some things have worked, but for the most part, I just stick to the stuff that I know works for me. I've got a handful of subs that I enjoy working in them positions, and that's where my main training resides around. I don't really like follow like playing anything else. I'll add stuff into my game if it works, but it's just got to fit my body type, hasn't it? Like you can't grapple out. Like I'm not a lanky guard player. I'm not super flexible. I've just got to play my game, and that's all you can do. That's why styles make fights, doesn't it? And Chris picks some good matches, they're entertaining. So I'm hoping that it's the same with me and Jack, and we can just put on a good show, because that's all that really matters. And then I win. That's it.
Definitely. Well, listen, it's always brilliant seeing you on Grapplefest. As we always enjoy your matches and so on. So this one obviously is going to be no different. Everybody knows what you're coming to do. So
there's no like. I don't think Jack will sit down, that'll be a bonus. Which actually sometimes is strange, because like the majority of matches I have, people just pull guard, which is just like. But the rule set lets you go to. I don't like discount them for it, because the rule set lets you go to your A game. You know what I mean? Like there's no. So, like with George, like that was his A game. Jack and George, who are on the card together. Jack Tyler, they're both who've beat me on Grapplefest. So that's gonna be well interesting to watch their match. I'll probably be rooting for Jack just because it's he's not he's English. So but for the most part, I like I said, I'm not gonna be able to go and reinvent what I do. Like you can definitely look at my matches and go, oh, I know what's gonna happen. It's just if I'm able to just still implement my game, even though so.
Yeah. So everybody knows what you're going to do. It's up to them to try and stop it. So I love that. It was the same with Owen Livesey. Everybody talks about Owen Livesey. Everybody knows what Owen Livesey's going to do. He's going to throw somebody somewhere, and nobody can stop it. Nobody's stopped him yet. So very similar. Obviously, everybody knows what you're coming to do. So it's up to them to try and stop it. And as you've done absolutely brilliant so far. So long may it
I've been with him
continue.
before, and he's been down to ASW. So I'm glad that he's getting the run out and the notification now. Like that's good to see, because his style is entertaining, and that's what I enjoy about grappling. Is the just being entertaining.
Yeah. He's a huge representative for the north of England as well. I don't know if you watched. We did an interview with one of his students, and we were talking about obviously the 4 nations. And the student said, "Well, anything south of Sheffield is France. Everything above Sheffield's the north of England." So they wanted me to come out because I was doing the announcement at the SGI, and they wanted me to announce them as Team North of England. so I think that's probably going to be a future thing where they want to fight, obviously, some guys. And this is obviously Owen, and it was Matty Holmes, Ben Bennett, Jack Levack, and I think it was a man, Liam, I think his name is. And they were saying, look, set up a north of England versus south of England, and we'll beat them as well. So, but
yeah, something like that's happened recently. Well, not recently, before COVID. Sorry. And I think there's always going to be that divide. It's a good laugh. It's a different, but I do rate our grappling up here. I think we really do push the action. I don't think I'm in that fraternity though. I'm in Cheshire, which is like I come from Crewe, which is like a grappling black spot. That's why I probably I got to travel up to Manchester to train.
Yeah. Well, listen, North of England, as I said, obviously you guys at ASW, obviously Owen and stuff. I mean, all over the North of England, all the way up to like Ellis Younger and so on. You guys are like the North of England's the guys that are running jiu-jitsu or grappling in the UK at the moment. So it's good to see. It's good to see. So,
I don't know about that, but yeah.
definitely some of the best matches I've seen anyway in the last kind of 6 months or so have come from people from the north of England. So yeah, listen, long may it continue. So there we go, guys. We've got Josh Cherrington's going to be up against Jack Levack. That's going to be Grapplefest 11, Saturday the 26th of February, Fusion Nightclub, Fleet Street in Liverpool. As I said, tickets are sold out. Get yourself onto Flow Grappling and make sure you choose them monthly options. Otherwise, it will be £114 they'll charge you. So make sure you get them monthly options. And then it's up to you what you do with it after that. So, Josh, listen, absolute honour to speak to you, buddy. I'm looking forward to seeing you next month as well. I'll be there, so we'll definitely grab a chat with you and some of the other ASW guys.
Yeah, perfect. No, thanks for having us on.
Not a problem, sir. Listen, thank you very much, and we'll see you next month, buddy. All right?
Yeah, catch you in a bit.